The following is a class on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, text number 24, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 16th of April, 1973 in Los Angeles.
So, Kunti is remembering all the dangers that she had passed before gaining the kingdom. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasyati. These Pandavas, they are great devotees of Lord Krishna, and in the material world, because people are interested in material things, so they are put into so many dangerous conditions of life. That was the policy of Dhritarashtra, how to kill the sons of Pandu and usurp the kingdom for his own sons. That was the policy from the very beginning. But they are very obedient, because Dhritarashtra was their guardian. So Dhritarashtra constructed a house of lac. Lac means as soon as you touch one matchstick, immediately it takes fire. So he asked his nephews and sister-in-law Kunti that for some time you go, I have constructed a very nice house, you can go and live there. Vidur informed that this is the policy. Dhritarashtra wants you to burn into ashes by going there house. Duryodhana could understand that Vidur has already informed. Therefore he was very angry. These are politics. So, although they knew that this is the plan of my uncle to send into that house and set fire, but they agreed, yes, not disobedient to the order of the superior. In this way, the house was set into fire, but they digged a subway within that house and they escaped. So that is one incident. Another incident is giving them poison cakes when they were at home. That also they escaped. Then Purushada Darshana, they met one Hirimni Raksha, man-eater, demon. So Bhima fought with him and killed him. Similarly, Asat Sabhaya, in the assembly of Asat, Asat means those who are not gentle, not gentlemen. In the Sabha, in the assembly, there was Dhritarashtra, there was Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, all elderly persons, and there was trick of playing chess. Somehow or other, Draupadi was taken as bet. Now, if we lose, then Draupadi is no longer our wife. It is up to you. They lost the game, so immediately Karna and Dushasana captured her. Now you are not your husband's, you are our property. We can deal with you as we like. So, Karna was insulted during Draupadi Sayambara. In the Sayambara means big princess, very qualified princess. They used to select her own husband. Just like in your country, the selection of husband is given to the girl as she likes. This is not very good for common. But those who are uncommon, highly qualified, one who knows how to select, to such girl the facility was given to select her husband, and under very strict condition. Just like Draupadi's father make it condition. There was a fish on the ceiling, and one has to pierce the eye of the fish, not directly seeing, but seeing the shadow in the water down. So, there were so many princes. As soon as such declaration is there, all the princes come to combat. That is Kshatriya principle. So, in that assembly of Draupadi Swayamvara, there was Karnas. Draupadi knew Draupadi's real purpose was to accept Arjuna as her husband. But she knew that Karna is there. If Karna competes, then Arjuna will not be able to succeed. Therefore, she said that in this competition, except the Kshatriyas, nobody can compete. That means Karna at that time was not known that he was a Kshatriya. He was the son of Kunti before her marriage. But people did not know. It was secret. So Karna was maintained by a carpenter. Therefore he was known as a Shudra. So Draupadi took advantage of this and said that I do not wish that any carpenters shall come here and compete. I don't want that. So Karna was not allowed. So Karna took it as great insult. Now when Draupadi was lost in the game, he was first of all forward. He was Duryodhana's great friend. Now we want to see naked beauty of Draupadi. So there were elderly persons in the meeting. Dhritarashtra was, Bhima was there, Dronacharya was there. Still they did not protest. Now, what is this? That you are going to make naked one lady in this assembly? They did not protest. Therefore, asasabhaya, assembly of uncultured men. Uncultured man wants to see a woman naked. But that has become a fashion nowadays. You see? A woman is not to be, not supposed not to be naked in anyone's before, except her husband. This is Vedic culture. But because these rascals wanted to see Draupadi naked in that great assembly, so they were all rascals. Asat. Sat means gentle, and asat means rude. So asat sabhaya, in that assembly of rudes, you saved, Krishna saved. Draupadi was being naked, her sari was being taken away, and the sari would not be finished. Krishna was supplying sari. So they became tired in trying to make her naked. And she never became naked. Heaps of clothes were stacked. They could understand it is impossible. And Draupadi was also first of all trying to save her cloth. What sexy country she is woman, and they are two men, Karna and Dushasan was trying to make her naked. So she was crying and praying to Krishna, save my honor. But she was trying also herself to save. When she thought that it is impossible to save myself, my honor in this way, then he left the hands, he simply got up her arms and prayed, Krishna, if you like, can save. So this is the position. So long we try to save ourselves. That is not very good. If you simply depend on Krishna, Krishna, if you save me, that is all right. Otherwise, kill me as you like. You see? Maravi Rakhavi Jai Chakwa. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I surrender unto you. Manasa deho geho jo kichu moro. My dear Lord, whatever I have got, my position, and what I have got this body, I have got my mind, I have got a little home, and my wife, my children. This is my position. So manasa deho geho jo kichu moro. So whatever I have got, this body, this mind, this wife, this children, this home, everything I surrender unto you.
Okay, let's stop for a minute there.
Ma-
Hare Krishna. Can you hear us?
Yes, Adi, we can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, where did Srila Prabhupada start today?
This is a big one. He started with Pinkunti and all the trials that she went through, and then the rest of it, he's really been laying them out. He's then started to talk about how her sons, the Pandavas, were taken into poisoned, and then he spent some time with that they were invited to that house of lac that would burn up in a second. And even though they knew, this was interesting for me to hear, even though they knew, they went because they did not disobey. They went anywhere, and luckily they escaped. And then now we're hearing about Draupadi, and I'll shut up and let someone else talk. But that's how it began.
The trials. Who remembers the other trials after the House of Lac? They escaped the House of Lac through a subway, through a tunnel that they had prepared. As soon as the house started fire, they escaped. And then what happened? How else did they try to kill? Dhritarashtra tried to kill his nephews.
By poison cake.
Poison cake, yeah. Anything else you remember?
There was a demon as well.
Hmm?
There was a demon, I believe, as well.
Yeah. Right. And Bhima killed the demon. These were means where there was a challenge, but Krishna protected. A devotee turns to Krishna. A devotee turns to Krishna. That is our shelter and our protection. And then there was a terrible incident where Krishna also protected. What happened?
Draupadi. When Draupadi was insulted, but she surrendered to Krishna.
Yeah, Karna was insulted in the Swayambara. Prabhupada says that the Swayambara is a ceremony where a girl accepts her own husband, selects her own husband. If it's a highly qualified person, usually the arrangement is that the girl has so much trust in her father that she allows the father to select the husband out of respect for his greater wisdom. But in this case, since she was an elevated person, she was allowed to go before all the different Kshatriya kings and princes. And Karna was insulted, Prabhupada said. How was he insulted?
Well, Draupadi knew that he was a would be a better archer than Arjuna, and she wanted Arjuna to win. So she said, "You're not a Kshatriya, you're the son of a carpenter." And so he was disqualified from even competing.
Hmm. Right. So he was insulted. And then Asat, Prabhupada says, she was in the assembly. There were elders, respectable, supposedly respectable personalities. And she appealed to them because they were trying to disrobe her in public. And only the husband will see the wife without clothing. So they were going to, they wanted to see her beauty, the beauty of her body. And the asat, what does that mean, asat? Do you remember? Sat means gentle, Prabhupada said. And asat mean people who are not gentlemen. So these members in the assembly, they didn't protest, even though a girl was being attacked unjustly.
Called like the rascal?
Hmm?
He called them rascals?
Rascals, yeah.
I think he said they were rude.
So Draupadi, she tried to protect herself. She appealed to the elders and to her husbands, and they were unable to rescue her. And at first she tried to protect herself, and then she realized these strong men, Karna, Dushashana, they are much more powerful physically than I am. So she said, Lord, I've heard two versions of this. Lord, if you want, you can protect me. I throw my hands up. Or if you want, you can allow this to go on. And Krishna appeared. How did he do it?
He came as unlimited sari, so even though that they kept pulling the sari, they got exhausted because her sari was never ending, so they couldn't take it off her body.
Right. So then Prabhupada ends this section by saying, Lord, I'm yours. Everything I have, my house, my family, my wealth, I put it in your hands. And if you like, you can kick me or you can embrace me. I will remain faithful to you under any circumstance, right? This is our exemplary. As devotees, we're also like that. Many trials and tribulations in this world. But Krishna will protect us. I guess we should go and hear what else Srila Prabhupada has to share with us.
Anasa deha geha jo kichu atpinu tu apade Nanda Kishora. Krishna is known as Nanda Kishore. So this is surrender. No reservation. Fully surrender. Akinchan. Therefore Krishna, a devotee is called Akinchan. No kinchana. Kinchana means something. Something reserved for me. Of course, actually that should be position, but still, in the material world, one should not imitate. But as Rupa Goswami has shown the path, that whatever position you have got, 50% for Krishna, 25% for the relatives, they also expect something, and 25% for personal emergency. This example is shown by Rupa Goswami. Before his retirement, he did it. But actually, that everything was spent when Sanatana Goswami was arrested. Everything was spent. So, this is full surrender. When Draupadi fully surrendered to Krishna, without trying herself to save herself, then unlimited years of clothes were supplied, and she could not be made naked. But because the attempt was made, in an assembly of crude, rude men. Therefore he said, asat savayam vanavasa krichat. And then next game was that if they lose the game, they would go 12 years in the forest. So that also happened for 12 years. And the condition was after 12 years, 1 year they should remain incognito. If they are detected that they are living in such and such place, then again 12 years. So hard condition. But that also surpassed. In that incognito condition, they married Draupadi. Arjuna was at that time in an incognito. He went there as a Brahmin, in the dress of a Brahmin. Because if he went there in the dress of a Kshatriya, they will be detected again. Here is Arjuna. Then again he'll have to go again for 12 years. So these things are there described in the Mahabharata. Mahabharata means, Maha means great, greater. And Bharat means India. It is the history of greater India. Mahabharata. They take it as stories, as mythology. That is nonsense. It is history. Mahabharata is the history. So we take it as history. All these Puranas, Mahabharata, they are histories. But not this chronological history. Chronological history, if you keep, there are how many pages you have to keep? So many things. Simply selected incidences they describe. Select most important incidences, but that is history. So these very important incidents, they are described in the Mahabharata. Then Mridhe Mridhe. Mridha means battlefield. Mridhe Mridhe. Aneka Maharatha Astato. There are great fighters. Maharatha. These are just like in modern days, they are given title, lieutenant, captain, commander-in-chief, like that. And formerly, these titles were for the military man, Ekaratha, Maharatha, Otiratha. Ratha means chariot. So, if one could fight with one charioteer, he is Ekaratha. And if he could fight with 1,000 charioteers, then he is called Maharatha. So, all the commanders there in the battlefield of Kurukshetra were Maharatha. Maharatha. They are described in the Bhagavad Gita. Especially Bhishma and Karna, Dronacharya, they are very great commanders. Still, Arjuna could kill them by the grace of Krishna. Arjuna was nothing in front of them. They are so great fighters. Arjuna was also Maharatha. Still, these commanders were very powerful. But by the grace of Krishna, he could kill Karna, he could kill Bhishma, he could kill Dronacharya and came out victorious. And Parikshit Maharaj, when he was talking with Sukdev Goswami, he also referred this, that the battlefield of Kurukshetra was just like ocean. And there were so many ferocious aquatic animals. But by the grace of Krishna, my grandfather crossed over it very easily. This is very significant. That you may have many enemies or many fighters, very powerful fighters, But if you remain at the protection of Krishna, then nobody can do you anything harm. Rakhe Krishna mareke. If Krishna protects you, nobody can kill you. But if Krishna kills you, nobody can give you protection. That is the Rakhe Krishna mareke. Mare Krishna rakhe ke. This is the if Krishna desires to kill you, nobody can save you. Just like a big man, a rich man is suffering from disease. All first-class physician, medicine, hospital available for him, but still he dies. That means Krishna desires that this man must die. So these things will not help you. The so-called protective methods that we have discovered, they will be useless if Krishna does not desire that you should live. They will be useless. Just like Ravan, he was very powerful. But when Krishna desired, Lord Ramchandra desired, so nobody could give protection. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And he was praying, Lord Shiva, please come and save me in this danger. So Lord Shiva did not come. Then Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, asked that, why is that? Your devotee is such a great devotee, he has served you so much, and now he is in danger, he is asking your help, you are not going. And Lord Shiva replied, my dear Parvati, what shall I do? I cannot give her protection. It is not possible. Why shall I go? So this is the position that if God wants to kill you, nobody can give you protection. And if God wants to give you protection, nobody can kill you. This is the position. Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe. So, Kunti Devi is remembering one after another how Krishna saved them. That is, thinking of Krishna, Smaranam. Krishna, you are so kind upon us. You saved us in so many big, dangerous positions. It is for you. Otherwise there is no hope. And the last is Dronastra. Dronastra. This Ashwatthama, he executed very abominable task. He killed. Of course there was fight. Both the parties belonged to the same family. So everyone died. So only 5 sons of the Pandavas, they were living. So Ashwatthama thought that if I kill these 5 sons of Pandavas and present the head to Duryodhana, he will be very much pleased. So what did he do? That when the 5 sons were sleeping, inhumanly, he cut up, he separated the heads of the 5 sons and presented to Duryodhana. Duryodhana was at that time in an incapable state. This waist was broken, he could not move. And he lied that I have brought the 5 heads of the Pandavas, my dear Duryodhana. Oh, you have brought? He was very glad in the beginning. But he knew how to test it. But when he pressed the head, it immediately became collapse. Oh, he said, this is not Pandava's head. It must be their son's head. Then he admitted, yes. He became fainted. That you have killed all the hopes. I hoped that in our family at these 5 sons you have killed also. So in that lamentment he died. So he was arrested. He was arrested by Arjuna and he was to be killed. Krishna ordered that kill him. He is not a Brahmin. is less than Shudra. So, when he was arrested, then he was let loose by the request of Draupadi that I am suffering for the death of my sons, and this rascal is the son of our Guru Maharaj, Dronacharya, who has done so much for us. If he dies also, then Mother Guru will be very much unhappy. So let him go ahead. So being insulted, he threw atom bomb, Brahmastra. The Brahmastra is something like atomic weapon, nuclear weapon. It can go to the enemy, wherever the enemy is. It doesn't matter. It will go and kill. That is called Brahmastra. So the Brahmastra was, he knew that the rest of the Kuru family is Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu. She is in the of Uttara. So let me kill him also. Everything finished. So Dronastra. So when that weapon was let loose, Parikshit Maharaj's mother, Uttara, felt that she is going to discharge the Om, and she approached Krishna, save me, and Krishna entered the Om of Uttara and saved the child, the posthumous child.
Okay, let's stop for we've gone quite a ways already. Where did Srila Prabhupada start? Who can remember?
Spoke about a kinchana.
What is the Kinchana?
One who doesn't have anything for himself.
Doesn't have what?
Anything. One who doesn't possess anything for oneself. One who surrenders.
Very good.
I was going to say at the last listen, the first listen, what my takeaway was that Krishna, well, Prabhupada said that when we shouldn't rely on ourselves, but we should rely on Krishna.
Yeah. Very good. What's that saying? If Krishna,
Nakinchana.
Oh, the Rake Krishna one?
yeah,
Marite, Mare Krishna Rake Ke.
that's right. What does it mean?
If Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. And if Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you.
We may rely on so many means. People rely on weapons, they rely on the legal system, they rely on their own strength, they rely on some kind of intelligence. But we turn ourselves to Krishna and say, Lord, I'm yours. Do with me as you like. I'll be satisfied to continue your service under whatever circumstances you give me. No anxiety. Nothing to protect, nothing to lose. It's all yours, Lord. I'm yours. Okay, what else did Srila Prabhupada say?
This gentleman that I just gave the Bhagavatams to, he emailed me that he didn't get back to me because his mother's in the hospital with pneumonia. And what I heard Prabhupada say today is if a rich man goes to the hospital, he may not live. Yeah, so it's like that. It's Krishna. If it's your time, it's your time. So I did write to him to give me her name so I could say a prayer. Because, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, I know some things that could help. But then I was thinking, sometimes people can't hear the natural ways versus the medical ways. The only thing that really helps is prayer. That's what I'm hearing here.
Yeah. When people are hospitalized, sometimes they call me And we remind them that we're very concerned about your consciousness. Medically, there are procedures and care that's being given, but let's not remember that our intention is to share Krishna consciousness with others. With wherever Krishna puts us, we can preach. So the consciousness, death is not a physical crisis, it's a consciousness crisis. If we're grateful to Krishna and we're trying to please him, no matter what circumstance we go through, that's the real protection. What else did Srila Prabhupada say?
He spoke about how Arjuna defeated all the powerful warriors.
That the Mahabharata is history, even though there are people who think otherwise, but still it's the history.
Very good. Yeah, Krishna was able to defeat the others. I mean, Arjuna was able to be victorious by Krishna's grace. That's our only, I give the credit where it's due. If we are successful, it's by the grace of the Guru and Krishna. We are meant to endeavor, but ultimately, Krishna is the cause of the results of our activities. You're entitled to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the result of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So we have to have a duty. Anything else? You guys are doing a great job remembering. I have to remember to bring a pencil and paper, because if I made just a few notes while Prabhupada's speaking, it's a lot easier to recount. We're learning to hear from Guru. And when they tried to praise Prabhupada, you made so many temples, you distributed so many books, disciples came. He said, if you want to say I did something, please say that I simply repeated what I heard from my spiritual master. And if these other things come or not, that's not really the success. The success is, let us repeat what we heard from Srila Prabhupada. So we're learning to do that by practicing in these classes. Anybody remember anything else Srila Prabhupada said?
Could I ask a question, Adi Prabhu?
If you like.
So I like this point Prabhupada is making about how we're just dependent on Krishna for our safety. And if he wants to save us, he'll save us. And if it's our time to go, then it's our time to go. It's up to him. But oftentimes we see and like a prayer for protection. Yet I think a lot of times when people pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, it's for protection. Can you please protect me? And you'll see when devotees get in the car, they'll do a really nice thing where they sing the Nrsimhadev prayers or something like that for protection. So is that proper? Is it still right to pray for Krishna to protect our material body, or should it just be focused on please protect my devotional service?
Very good question. What do you think?
I think you could ask, please protect my body so that I may continue engaging in your devotional service. But then,
if you so desire.
if you so desire. Yeah. Nice.
But ultimately, Shakespeare had these different kinds of plays, comedies and tragedies. And the definition of the tragedy was the hero dies. And if we look at the story of everyone's life, the hero dies. isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What is the protection from death? What Hiranyakasipu wanted? Eternal life? No, the protection from death is to be fully absorbed in devotional service. That is our shelter. We may make mistakes, but we are trying to please Krishna. And if we maintain that endeavor to please Krishna, then in life or death we are satisfied and protected.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Go on.
Is darshan going to happen, or we don't have connection to the bhakti center?
I don't think Temple Room is connected. So you'll have to describe Radhamoladar to us.
Should we allow Bhima's question, Ananda Bihari?
Yes.
We have, in the case of Christ's crucifixion, that Christ said, "If it be your will, Lord, let this cup pass from me," because he knew in the Garden of Gethsemane that he was due to the prophecy of being crucified. That's major stuff. That's like Draupadi being disrobed, crucifixion. And Christ said, if it be your will, let this cup pass from me, but thy will be done, meaning exactly what you said. I just wanted to ask the question, where did you read that extra aspect, which kind of changes it, where Draupadi says, but if you be your will, save me, rather than just, hey, Krishna, hey, Govinda. What did Prabhupada say? Did Prabhupada say that she was willing to just say whatever you want, Krishna? Or did she really call out, hey, Krishna, hey, Govinda, please protect me?
Prabhupada, just listen to the class again. Prabhupada said exactly that.
He said what?
He said that if you will protect me from this, or if you will, it'll happen in another way. She was surrendering to Krishna's will, not asking her, do it like this, Lord. That's a very interesting distinction, a very important question you're asking. Listen to Prabhupada's words exactly again. It's right there.
Yeah, that's that last surrender.
Like you said, thy will be done.
Yeah, that's the last surrender. I don't care if you handle me roughly by your embrace or stomp me beneath your feet or take other lovers.
Or don't be present before me. It's a heavy-duty prayer. I actually sometimes hesitate to say that. Krishna, you can do whatever you want with me because, oh my goodness, that's a little scary. But that's what comes from hearing about Krishna. How good he is, how merciful he is, how wise he is, how he is our friend, how he could do anything, and how we just read yesterday, Narayana Parasave Nakatishna Bhiviti Svarga Pavarga Narkesh. A devotee doesn't care if he goes to heaven or hell. Because wherever he goes, he will serve Krishna. Isn't it? No answer. Anyway, that's what our philosophy is. That's what Prabhupada told us. The devotee doesn't care whether he goes to heaven or hell. But Lord, wherever I go, even after taking birth in a low species of life, please let me be with your devotees. Please let me engage in devotional service. It looks like Narottam has a question. He's peeking in here with his smile.
Yeah, that's Rishi. I wanted to say, Srila Prabhupada also mentioned something about the term Maharathis, in the sense those generals who in the battlefield of Kurukshetra could face 1,000 other warriors at once. And you mentioned Bhishma and Karna. And although they were both on the opposite side, they were both devoted to Krishna. Like, in the sense, Bhishma definitely was, but like even Karna, like Krishna still like, gave Karna many chances for him to come back on the side of the Pandavas or correct the mistakes that he had made. And I just wanted to say that my reflection is that although we might face difficulties in our lives, Krishna shows by his example that he himself, like, from his childhood pastimes till later on, has faced a lot of difficulties. So, um, yeah, of course, anybody can understand it's Krishna, but I really appreciate what you had said about, like, whatever arrangements Krishna makes for us, despite our own personal shortcomings, that may be, we should be really grateful to be engaged in devotional service. And I'm really inspired by you. I'm gonna, I have to get my car fixed, but I'm gonna go to downtown Detroit and go for Harinam by myself. So, then the rest will take.
You won't be alone. Krishna will be with you. The entire Sampradaya will be with you. Don't think you're alone. You're connected to every other devotee who ever lived anywhere when we're glorifying Krishna.
Maturanath, can I jump in front of you? I really was thinking, the second share of Prabhupada and then all of the devotees adding in. I was like thinking, well, it's really just a change of consciousness. So that's why Prabhupada really wanted us to be Krishna conscious. So it's really about how we're seeing things, how we're connecting with our life or not connecting with our life. If we're moving out of fear or if we're moving in the flow, we could there's like these parallels of like our material life, our spiritual life, but if they get woven more and more together, then we're more and more in the flow and we're more and more in Krishna consciousness. So I have some friends that are really suffering right now. I've been counseling lots of people, and even in my own home, my husband has lost his job. So, you when it's other people, you give them advice, but when it's in your own home, you really have to internalize what direction you need to take. So I just found myself even interesting today, hearing this wonderful offering of Prabhupada and all the devotees, like a lot of these people that I'm counseling, I'm telling them, well, it's not about the story. It's like, you got to let that go. But really, it's about what not you're letting go of, but what you're grabbing onto. So I could see in our own home that it's this kinds of distresses do bring us much closer to Krishna. They bring us a lot of clarity. I've decided to do a water fast, so I'm on day 6 of a water fast, and it feels very freeing. And I'm doing that as an offering to Krishna for clarity, and to save money since my husband lost his job. Just kidding. Hare Krishna.
One thing he mentioned about Bhima and Arjuna being on different sides. A good actor, Prabhupada tells us, understands that the story must be told. And to facilitate the telling of the story, one actor might be called upon to play the villain, the bad guy, but it helps the story to be told. And we're ready to play any role that Krishna wants in order so that the truth be shared with other people. So Grandfather Bhishma was ostensibly on the other side, but like they say, it's not over till it's over. And we see in the end, Grandfather Bhishma on the bed of arrows spoke tremendous wisdom and instructions to Arjuna and the Pandavas. Krishna can use us if we're willing. How wonderful is Krishna?
Haribo. I had two things, one comment and then a controversial question. First is that the last verse of Shikshashtakam you guys are talking about, this is actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about how the 8 verses of Shikshashtakam correlate with the different phases of bhakti. So the last verse of Shikshashtakam, this is Radharani, saying you can handle me roughly, you can do whatever you want. This is actually the stage of prem. So we may recognize that as you were saying, I like, that's a scary thing. I think it can be healthy to recognize I'm not there yet, because that's the platform of prem. Krishna, you do whatever. And Krishna does in prem, he's always mixing things up in wild ways to expand the love. That's the nature of love, is it's always expanding, it's always increasing. So a question for you though, Adi. Rita Nandamaraj, I don't know if you've heard this, but he's writing a Mahabharata right now. And I was actually at a meeting with him. I was excited because he said it was going to be a discourse on his Mahabharata. And it was at Badarayan Prabhu's house. And I went and I was excited to hear Leela. And what he discussed was that this pastime of Draupadi, he doesn't believe it happened. He doesn't believe it could have happened because these were very high-class gentlemen. Some were Vaishnavs, and they would never allow such a thing to happen. And so he's putting this out, that this did not happen. It couldn't have happened. And there was arguments. Well, Srila Prabhupada, as we hear, talked about this. And then his response was, well, Prabhupada heard these things in his childhood. He's just referring. So what would your response be to such a claim?
Without Ridananda Maharaj here, I wouldn't break into this subject of whether or not exactly what he said or what he meant. But what we're milking, what we're deriving from these stories is the principle. The principle is that a high-class person, that to do less than protect an innocent girl is low class. That's a principle. Nobody can refute the principle.
Can I interject here?
Please.
Yeah. As with everything, all things are possible with Krishna. And as you said, Adi, sometimes somebody has to play the villain in order to demonstrate that amongst women, Draupadi came to the Nishkinshana state having nothing but Krishna, which is a necessity before one gets Krishna. But having nothing but Krishna, she had to be thrown into that state. If those high-class people, including her husbands, could have done something, Krishna made sure they didn't. By virtue of telling the story, the principle that you're talking about, the principle being this: without Krishna, you can't be saved. With Krishna, no one can harm you, including Draupadi's disrobing. So Krishna is wild. It is said Shakespeare, he would write a drama, a tragedy, a comedy, a romance, and at the same time make grand political and philosophical statements that in the globe, which was the name of the theater, the globe, as in this world, the globe, that all the world's a stage and all the men and women play many parts. And Draupadi and those honorable men in that assembly were playing parts and roles for real. For real. Krishna sets the stage and he unwinds it and he whispers in people's ears and things happen in order for him to present that principle. So I just wanted to present that as a bridge as to what you're saying, Adi. And then this doubt. Whenever I hear somebody say, well, Prabhupada heard this when he was a kid, it's precisely a child who knows what's going on. Hare Krishna.
The principles are there, the wisdom is there, and there are stages. People make mistakes, and then if you make a mistake and you are chastised for that, we can repent, we can apologize, we can ask for forgiveness, and then it's possible to become virtuous again, even after making a mistake. So the roadmap is there, just like they say when somebody has been imprisoned, they've paid their debt to society, and then life goes on, and Krishna gives them a chance to try again, to do it right the next time. At least that's what I've heard from Guru.
When we were listening, I you can't help but think the same thing when Prabhupada's telling this pastime today, that, well, how could they have let that happen? But I can say many times in my life, things have gone too far and you have to just go with it. A couple weeks ago, I was falling, and in my mind, I thought, oh, I could try to stop my fall. And I thought, well, then I'll hurt my knee more. I just have to let myself fall. Like sometimes things are just, even though like you might know it's not right, there's so many things even in our lives that you see something happening, or you're a part of something and the engine's running and it's like too late. There's just so many reasons why it can't happen. I mean, in Govardhan Leela, we see that, Krishna is really having fun with this arrogant Indra, It's like, and we might think like, oh, Krishna, show up in my life like this, I'm arrogant, but it's like that. He is showing up. It's all about our consciousness. And Krishna was there watching it all, and Krishna did stop it. These other men couldn't stop it, but Krishna did stop it. He gave her unlimited sari. So Krishna is in our lives, and he's right here with us.
When we were kids, sometimes something would happen in a game and we'd say, oh, I call do-over. You get another chance, by Krishna's grace. It's not over, but, the mistake has to be acknowledged. The lesson has to be learned. The reaction has to be there. And then the repentance and the forgiveness, and then, all right, now get it right this time. Who of us
Right,
has...
and we see that these are great points. We see this happen with Indra, with Brahma. Indra was trying to kill the residents of Vrindavan. So one could also say this couldn't have happened because Indra is a high-class person. He's actually a devotee of Krishna. That could never happen. To kill the residents of Vrindavan, how could such a person do that? But Krishna Krishna used this incident with Draupadi as a catalyst for the war, for the Kurukshetra war. This is like one of the main catalysts. There was other things we talked about in Prabhupada giving class, the House of Shellac and the poison cake, but this was the main one. And and then we hear Brahma stole the cows. Why did he stole the cowherd boys? Why did Brahma steal the cowherd boys? Because he saw when Krishna told the cowherd boys to pass his ladus to him, and then one of the cow, I'm forgetting his name. He popped the laddu in his mouth, and Krishna popped the laddu. He hit his mouth, and the laddu came out of his mouth into Krishna's mouth. And Brahma saw that and said, "This is Muchi. How could this be God?" So he stole all of Krishna's friends. How could such the creator of this universe? How could he do such a thing? So we have to see.
Remember,
This is
the end of the story, both Brahma and Indra, even though they did horrible things, mischievous things,
they repented.
they were rectified.
Yeah.
Jacob was saying recently in the Bhagavatam, Parikit made a mistake, Chitraketu made a mistake, Mars Bharat made a mistake, Ajamil made a mistake.
It's full of mistakes.
They blew it. They did something abominable or sinful, and then, even though they had to go through some difficulty, then in the end, how wonderful is Krishna? That was such a heavy thing about Christianity that when Jesus said, "Your sins are forgiven, you've done something wrong. Now repent and wash yourself and bathe and baptize yourself and cleanse yourself through purification, and then go on in a holy life." So that's a very interesting lesson. And it has to do with the principle of forgiveness, just like when Ambarish was offended and Durvasa Muni, he had to go back to the person he offended. He couldn't even go to the Lord. But then the person he offended, Maharaj Ambarish, said, "I see that you are forgiven, and I forgive you." And then the Sudarshan was taken away. So we are learning by hearing these stories that there is such a thing as digression, deviation, aparad, and then there's also a possibility of us. Like Prabhupada said, if somebody offends you, that's their ignorance. But if you take it as
What's going on here?
your ignorance, rejected there. If somebody offends you, that's your
Stuff in the washer, stuff in the.
speaking or am I speaking?
It's
Bhima's yelling at his horses.
Krishna's arrangement because we're way over time.
Okay, sorry.
Mindful of time. Krishna says, "Time I am." We start class on time and we end it on time too. It's important. So, has anyone sufficiently glorified Krishna?
Wonderful is Krishna.
Wonderful is Krishna. Thank you very much. Adipurusha Prabhu. Okay.
Glory to Prabhupada.
We need Isaiah. Annabelle, are you still here? Okay. Then.
Hello.
Who's that?
Yeah, here.
Okay, all right. Annabelle, Isaiah, please recite the Maha Mantra. Think of Draupadi, think of Krishna, and recite loudly.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. It was very purifying and inspiring, Isaiah and Annabelle.
Bye.
We start the week with Kirtan, with wonderful answers that Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada have for us when we are when we're facing difficulties. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Very interesting pastime. We understand that this is very sensitive and raises a lot of questions, and we got wonderful answers today by Adipurusha Prabhu's grace and by Srila Prabhupada's grace. Thank you so much. We love you. We need you. Thank you for your association. Come again tomorrow. Nice to see you. Nice to hear you. Hare Krishna.